Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. So my name is Rabi'ah Oktaviani. In this video, I will present to you about my thesis proposal entitled Students' View on the Implementation of Synchronous Online Learning in UN Antasari Banjarmasin. So there will be 4 sections in this video. The first is about background, and then research questions, research objective, and then for the last section is about research methodology. Alright, so we go to the first section, that is background. As we know that during COVID-19 pandemic, some aspect of our life, especially education, has changed from face-to-face learning to online learning. It will be difficult for some people, especially for teachers and students that have a lack of capability to access the technology properly. And then synchronous online learning can be an alternative to still conduct teaching and learning process during this pandemic, because synchronous online learning is a real-time online learning that can communicate from teacher and student directly. So it will be effective and efficient to conduct this kind of online learning, especially synchronous online learning, because it is can make the teaching and learning environment feels like face-to-face or offline learning. Alright. Some research were conducted to support this study. The first is from Agung et al. In 2020. He investigated the students' perception of synchronous online learning during COVID-19 pandemic at Stike Pamane Talino, with the subject were 38 English students. So the result show if students were not ready with the new style in learning, and their gadget also didn't support the sudden high technology changes. So the second research conducted by Irawan et al. In 2020, the results showed that students were bored after 2 weeks studying from home. The parents with low income felt anxious because of high internet costs. The learning from home, the parents with low income felt the learning wasn't effective because too many tasks for the student. The third research was conducted by Adnan in 2020 about the higher education perspective on synchronous online learning in Pakistan. He stated that online learning cannot create expected result in underdeveloped students because they cannot access the internet. The fourth research is conducted by Sujarwo et al. In 2020. They mentioned in the midst of the COVID-19 pandemic, students were interested in using online learning that can be accessed flexibly anytime and anywhere, and their perspective on synchronous online learning have a positive impact amid the COVID-19 pandemic. Based on the background that I have mentioned before, I formulate 2 research questions. Those are, the first is, how do the students perceive the implementation of synchronous online learning in UN Antasari Banjarmasin? The second is, what are the challenges that perceived by the students on the implementation of synchronous online learning in UN Antasari Banjarmasin? So based on the research question, there will be 2 research objectives. The first is to investigate the views that held by students about the implementation of synchronous online learning in UN Antasari Banjarmasin. The second is to investigate the challenges perceived by the students on the implementation of synchronous online learning in UIN Antasari Banjarmasin. Alright, so for the last section is about research methodology. So in this study, I will use descriptive qualitative as research method because I will describe the perception from the student about the implementation of synchronous online learning, and then what are the challenges that they face on the implementation of synchronous online learning in UIN Antasari Banjarmasin. So for this setting, I will conduct the study in seminar in ELT course in UIN Antasari Banjarmasin, English Education Department. So for the participant, I will involve 36 semester student of seminar in ELT course that consists of 15 females and 15 male students in a seminar in ELT course. And then for the research instrument, I will use interview and documentation. So I will interview directly the respondent with interview guideline, and then I will take a note as documentation. And then for data analysis, I will use from Mars et al. 2015. That are 3 steps in data analysis. The first is data condensation. The second is data display. The third is drawing and verifying conclusion. In data condensation, I will obtain the result of my interview from the respondent, and then in data display, I will categorize the result of my interview based on their result of my interview. And then the last step is drawing and verifying conclusion, and then in this step I will conclude the result of my interview with my respondent. Alright, so that's it for my thesis proposal presentation. Thank you. Wassalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh.